Welcome to the 2024 44 Cup World Championship hosted in Brunnen, Switzerland. The competition is taking place in the magnificent alpine setting of Lake Lucerne, encircled by towering mountains in what is considered the oldest part of Switzerland. Of the 9 teams competing, 6 are previous RC44 World Champions, since the class's first Worlds in 2010. Let's get straight into the racing and see how the teams are performing on day one. So the start of race 1, day 1 of the 44 Cup in Brunnen, the World Championship. It gets off with lots of teams towards the starboard end of the starting line, trying to get in there, and Black Star don't get a spot in. But down at the far end of the line, in the far side of the picture, is CRF with the big blue V on the sail. They've decided to go for the left-hand side of the race course and go out onto that left-hand side because of the cliff and there's potentially more wind there. Here we're riding with Black Star, looking up the course, and the tactician's seeing where he thinks the wind is, stood up there to try and get a great view. About the first beat, the leaders have come from the left-hand side. The boat closest to the picture is CRF with a big blue V on the sail. Next to them is the Spanish and Nika as well. CRF tacking for the starboard ley line up into the windward mark. They've got a couple of boat lengths lead here, and that's going to give them a little cushion as they go downwind towards the leeward gate. The wind's about 12, 13 knots. They're prepping for the rounding, wanting to get that big white spinnaker up as fast as they possibly can. The grinders grinding madly, trying to get the spinnaker hoisted. And as they come out of the boat mark, it's a boat length's time before they set. Nick around second, they're aiming to try and close gauge on the boat in the lead. And another good set from them. Then in the next 8 places, there's a lot of congestion. Peninsula going around here in 3, with Black Star hot on their heels and Charisma in 4 and 5. It's a busy windward mark. As we come down the run, it's all been about trying to get across on starboard jibe towards the far shore to the big cliffs. Seems to be more wind. CRF jibes for their crossing back into the middle of the course. They want to have a nice clean lane of breeze. Coming back towards the bottom gate, CRF jibe, but it's Nika has to avoid a little bit because they've closed on them, just squeaking behind on port as the boat comes down towards the first gate for the leeward marks. But as we come into the bottom here, the marks just coming into view. CRF have to do 2 little jibes here. Nika coming in fast, dropping their spinnaker, but it flies out the side of the boat. And is that going to go in the water? Yes. Oh, it looks like it's dragging in the water a little bit. That's going to really hamper their leeward mark rounding some. But they still managed to get round in reasonable shape. The crew working hectic conditions, trying to get the rest of that spinnaker under control. A good run from Peninsula. Going to come in 3rd here in the nice bright blue boat. But the rest of the fleet all coming in very, very nip and tuck, very close coming to the bottom here. Looking up the course, there's wind coming down towards the boats as they sail up into the next windward mark. It's going to be tricky, but it looks like there's more breeze, potentially a little bit more on the left-hand side of the course, which is why you can see lots of boats all trying to get onto starboard tack and sail up that left-hand side of the race course. As we come to the top, CRF have really extended here, had a really lovely course up this beat, played that left-hand side well, and Nika is now just in front of Peninsula. A smooth turn down from Igor La there, the helmsman, with the rest of the crew working really feverishly trying to get that big spinnaker up. They got some 25, 30 seconds lead here, and Nika, coming around in second, have dropped a little bit of distance. They've now got Peninsula hot on their heels, trying to come in to grab that second place off them. They turn the boat down, the spinnaker goes up, the tactician's talking the helmsman through what angle he wants out of the set, and all the while they're trying to be aware of what's going on with the boats behind them because the wind's coming from behind. Halfway down the run, the boats have all jibed off, trying to seek out a band of wind across the middle of the course. On the right hand side here we've got CRF. At the bottom The boats that push furthest into the right-hand side looking downwind have made a gain. And the boat on starboard here is Siref, only just crossing in front of Peninsula is Nika, who's just jibing. Nika jibing for the finish line. It's going to be very close at the finish here. And I think as we pan round to the right here, we're also going to see another fast encroaching red spinnaker, the Black Star spinnaker, coming down, having made a huge gain down that last run. I think they went from 7th or even 8th up into 2nd, 3rd. And at the moment, they've got a jibe to keep out of the way of the right-of-way boat, Nika, who are coming in fast at the bottom of the picture here. Siref got to try and soak deep into the finish, and they just nab the finish first from Nika in 2nd, Black Star in 3rd. Then the next placings, we've got Peninsula, followed by Aqua. So race 2, we're looking down the line here. All the boats come to the line very, very fast. It's a good start at the bottom from the Spanish and the blue boat with a V on its sail. But also at the top end of the line here, Aqua done a really nice job. The fleet is super competitive at this World Championships, and all the boats are very evenly matched for speed. Siref on the left, Nika going to round first this time. Done a really nice job on this beat, working into that left-hand side. They're coming round here, the grinder's getting ready to hit the handles hard to get the kite hoisted, but they've had to stay high because the best beat actually has been from the Spanish team, the Calero Marina team. They've got their spinnaker up, but it's not quite set so well, and Nika and Siref have come round and made gains. Coming in here, Charisma, turning the boat fast, the grinder's starting to go, the sails are easing, the tactician's calling the helmsman down on angle. Now it's about getting that spinnaker up as fast as possible to defend from the next boat behind. Peninsula, Black Star, and bringing out the rear, we've got Aqua. So all the boats now, as we pan up this beautiful scenery, we've got huge cliffs on the left-hand side, and all the boats want to come into this cliff shore because the wind seems to be stronger down that side. We've got lots and lots of boats out on the race course, watching and cheering people on as they come around the top mark. As we come out of that shore, it's the people who've got farthest away from the camera now that have done the best out of that side. They're now trying to sail on port jibe down into the leeward gate to make that down in 1. But the boat on starboard here on the right-hand side of the picture is Siref, and they've tried to come across, and they're looking to try and make an option into this last port jibe down into the finish. Just a cross behind them for Black Star, and they're going to jibe now to follow the train of people coming down into the gate. But the lure mark is Nika, who's going to lead. Another good race for them, doing a superb job. Aleph has made a gain on the other mark, and this is Nika coming round the mark. A nice smooth rounding there from Vladimir. Aleph taking the other mark, a lovely rounding here, coming out on the breeze nicely, going straight upwind as they exit the mark. The Spanish team from Calero Marinas round in 3, Black Star in 4, similar time to Charisma, and Siref in 6. So as they look up the course now, the teams are trying to see where the best patches of wind are, and it's a little bit more fickle than it was last time. There still is good wind on the left-hand side, but it's not only that option. Peninsula turning around in their new blue boat, just leading in from Aqua, who are also in their new RC44. Both boats turning and spinning round on the leeward mark, trying to gain that good exit of the mark. Nika have extended. They've done a fantastic job here, keeping it nice and calm, simple, turning a boat down nicely, getting themselves onto that good, fast exit out of the mark, and extending away from the team in 2nd. Aleph have done a good job of maintaining on this beat in their 2nd place. Again, they're trying to just smoothly turn the boat down. You see the helmsman there carefully steering all boat away without loading up the rudder too much. And again, a great race here from the Spanish team in 3, with Black Star 4, Charisma 5, and Siref in 6. The spinnaker goes up on the Spanish team. It's setting better this time, as the Swiss, the local The local heroes come round. They're bringing their big red kite up. Slightly late on the hoist then, but they're off, down and away in 4th place towards that favoured right-hand side of the racecourse. On the last jibe in towards the finish, it's Nika all the way. They've done a great job this race and really putting the power down now and going to be leading all the way through into the finish. But there's still a few little options on the racecourse for the people following behind. So as we pan back, looking back into the fleet from seeing Nika here, we should see the other boats and where they're sailing relative to Nika's line coming down into the finish. And the big cliffs out on the far side of the course have again been a bit favoured. And as you can see, 2 boats pretty much line astern of Nika coming out of that left-hand side of the racecourse as we look at it now. Nika coming away with a win, a second in the first race and a first in the second race, a good result and a well-deserved win for that race there. Race 3 starts, but over early at the pin end of the line is the blue boat of Peninsula. And unfortunately for them, that means they have to go back. They're slowing now. But meanwhile, that's giving all the other boats the chance to be able to make some distance and gain some options. The boat nearest the camera at this pin end of the line is Aqua, and they've got a great launch off the start. But at the far end of the line, or the starboard committee boat end of the line, is Black Star, who absolutely nailed that start at full pace and really launched. They're a half a length up on pretty much most of the people other than Aqua, and that's really helped them come up into the top of the course. But again, the Spanish team doing a fantastic job. They're going around first. That's 3 top 3 finishes in each of the races so far this regatta. Awesome job. So as we come in round here, they're quite close to that mark, but they're going around in 1 from the fast approaching Black Star, the Swiss team, home advantage maybe here in 2, 3 and 4. Here's 3 CRF right next to Artemis, a real duel going on here between those 2, and just behind them is Charisma. It's a good set from CRF. Artemis, Spinnaker not quite setting there, but they all going on starboard jibe here to try and keep separated away from the traffic of the boats that have just been going upwind. As we come down the run, it's been about this holding on starboard out the top and then a long port lay line down into the finish, but the wind's decreasing. It's changing. There's a little bit more patchiness in the wind. As you can see, the boats aren't quite speeding along so fast as they were before. Black Star deciding to go for the port rounding mark here at the bottom, and they're taking that as that's the slightly closer to them. Very busy, very, very busy as you get into 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Lots and lots of place changes here. Looks like it's going to be CRF round in 2. The big Vader logo, very easy to see here. Not quite such a good drop on them, but they're still rounding in good shape, going out into the side that they want. Artemis going round just after them on the other buoy with the Spanish team who rounded in the lead at the Wimmer mark in 4. So at the top, it's the Black Star team really pushing home their advantage from that first downwind. And as they come into this top mark, we're going to see some real Swiss efficiency, turning the boat well, gradually bringing the boat down, working super hard, pulling that spinnaker up as fast as they can on the foredeck there, getting that jib under control. But there's a bit of a catch on the jib. It's not quite gone up so smoothly, and the leech of the jib is really hanging on the spinnaker luff, but they set it, it's okay. They've probably got a buffer of 20-25 seconds there, and it's CRF again with another good beat. They're rounding in second. The spinnaker's hoisting, the boat's on good angle, they're set and they're going. As they come out of the mark, Artemis have had a really good set though, and they're already down slightly deeper than CRF on their angle, with a fast approaching Nika in 4. So it's going to be anybody's game down this run after the leaders. The leaders here, Black Star, jibed early at the top and taken a really good pressure into the left-hand side looking downwind. Now they're coming back on starboard, Everybody else has kept towards the big cliffs that we've been talking about so far. And unfortunately this time, the big cliffs haven't been the way to go. It's been about making sure you kept to the left-hand side of the run. There's been more pressure that side, and Black Star have played that absolutely perfectly. This is them coming down in towards the finish, speeding along, one last little jibe in towards the last gate of the day and of the race, and that's going to be the victory for them on their home turf. Great job for them, and awesome job to be leading a regatta at the end of this first day of racing at the RC44 World Championships in Brunnen. So now let's hand over to the Black Star team for interviews with the tactician and the skipper.
Really challenging, but a good day for us here on the Black Star. Really tricky conditions, but to get a 3.61, we're really happy with day one. We had a few challenges today with a bit of gear breakage on our winch system, so we're a little bit compromised. So I think the team as a whole did an awesome job to battle through a little bit of a compromised situation all day, and to get those results. We're really happy and looking forward to the next 3 days.
Well, for me, first of all, it's an incredible feeling to have a first race win on a World Championship at home. And I'm absolutely happy that everybody can see that on Swiss lakes there is a steady breeze, and it's possible to have cool races.